Yo, what is up everybody? Barokoshama here with another Elemental Shaman video. This is the survival guide for the Elemental Shaman 8.0 pre-patch date, as well as some information going into BFA to help you guys level up a little bit faster, a lot more comfortable, especially if you're in war mode. So we have a little bit of information to talk about here, but a quick disclaimer. A lot of this stuff I've just been testing out for my own. There's no sims involved. It's just kind of like feel, as well as what I've been seeing in comparison to other shamans that are geared just as much as me, as if not more, right? So what we're going to be talking about in this video has nothing to do with the recent changes that have come to the shaman that are in a negative way. So this is just for the people that want to stick to their shaman and want to have fun going into BFA and not too worried about all the negative changes. So if you guys want to talk about those, talk about it on the forums, not here in the video. Anyway, let's talk. So a lot of people have been kind of asking me what builds are going to be popular, what gear should I be looking for 8.0 and pre-patch, and I've done the testing. I think you guys will be pretty surprised when I say the shoulders, the Echoes of the Great Sundering, are very strong. They are exceptionally strong. I was doing some testing with Manmuth here on the beta, not PTR, here on the beta, and I found that actually if you couple the Echoes of the Great Sundering shoulders and legendary boots to the Deceiver's Blood Pact with Aftershock, your proc chance for the shoulders are extremely high. My estimation is around 50% proc chance, plus weaving in lava bursts and things with our tier 21 2-set makes the shoulders an exceptional single target gain. It's around 13 to 18% of my single target damage on a training dummy. So I'll show you guys exactly how that works, but I really just want to emphasize that Aftershock, boots, and shoulders is an extremely good combination, and just other talents that I've found to deal or complement each other or do a lot of decent damage, sustained damage, are as followed with Echoes of the Elementals, Echoes of the Elements, Storm Elemental, Primal Elementalist, and Ascendance. I like having Ascendance as just like another backup CD. It kind of just like bumps up your average damage over time. This build also is complemented by a lot of instant cast spells, so it's pretty mobile as well. So if you guys want to have fun with it, test it out yourselves. I highly recommend going and using this build. Also, I've found out, because I've tested a lot of different kind of gear combinations and stat combinations, still keeping the 4-set obviously, and I've noticed that a crit heavy build complements this very nicely, just because Echoes or the earthquakes that we get don't or aren't influenced by haste or mastery. In fact, like, they crit for around 3k per tick, and one cast of earthquake with a buff from the shoulders does more damage than a single cast of earthshock at 60 maelstrom. So if we can have enough crit to complement that and deal a lot more damage, I'm finding that having a lot of crit, a little bit of versatility as well, and then mastery on the side, gaining us that maelstrom that we get from our overloads with mastery is a nice little buff. So how about I just stop talking and we'll just go into what the damage breakdown looks like so you guys can see for yourselves. Just make sure I'm in current segment. Okay, I'm using a flask and defiled augment rune. Let's go. I'll show you guys this. Using that Ascendance. There's the first earthquake. Okay. So I'm always trying to weave a lava burst in between each of the earthquake casts, because I really like to buff my earthquakes with that tier 21 2-set bonus. And you can see here that the earthquake is actually doing a ridiculous amount of damage. Of Of course, this is going to kind of weave out over time, but I really just want to showcase to you guys how much damage an Earthquake can do. 10 casts of Earthquake, 8 casts of Earthquake, 10 casts of Earthshock. So I've been getting a lot of really good procs here. And you guys can see that I'm still weaving in those Lava Bursts here, trying to always put one before an Earthquake, right? So even if I might max Maelstrom, the extra damage is phenomenal, especially if it's a instant cast one, right? So these are really good procs. I don't want to skew the information that I'm giving you guys, but these are really good procs. A lot of it, I've usually averaged around 4.2 to 4.3 k DPS sustained. So the fact that I'm actually getting a lot of really good procs here just shows you guys like how often you can get the procs back and forth from boots and shoulders, right? So I'm doing the guide right now, guys. I know I'm streaming live right now while I do these guides. A lot of the time, that's what I'm going to be doing. So if you guys have questions, just wait until after the video is done, after I'm done recording the video. So we're still doing a decent amount of sustained damage. This is with the number squish, guys. A lot of things are still subject to change, even in PTR. Or even in pre-patch. A lot of numbers can change. Okay, so I just kind of wanted to show you guys exactly what the damage breakdown is on the target dummy with the single target and all the cooldown stuff. Actually, I'll wait until I'm done with my second round of Ascendance. So you may have noticed actually that my Berserking buff is also on, or macroed together with my Ascendance. So because I'm a troll, I get the Berserking buff, so I just macro it with Ascendance. If you guys are also interested in the weak auras that I'm using, they're not mine, they're just the ones that I use on the beta currently. But I'll definitely leave them, or I'll leave the paste bin in the video's description so you guys can check it out if that's what you want to be using come the pre-patch and stuff like that. Okay, so now we're in our second Ascendance. I should have Flame Shocked before I went into this, so that's my mistake. I'm finding that Ascendance is a nice little touch, especially because we have high crit values when we get like our Mark of the Claw or our Cycle of the Legion and stuff like that. So I recommend trying out a lot of different talents with the boots procs, or with the boots and the shoulders. There's a lot of different combinations that will be viable, so it's definitely up to you guys what you want to choose. Like, you can go with unlimited power if you want a little bit more mastery in your build. You can even go with exposed elements, though I find that the exposed elements is a lot harder to make every single debuff count and take advantage of every single debuff, especially when you're flopping back and forth between procs on your Earthshocks and Earthquakes. So it can be a little bit hectic. If you guys also want to try out High Voltage or Earth and Rage, that's up to you. The main focus here is just having Aftershock, boots, and shoulders. And then whatever you guys are finding you're comfortable with your rotation, even if you want to play Elemental Blast, that's up to you. But I'm finding that with myself, my playstyle, with the stats that I have, these talents tend to be a little bit better. So I'll show you guys that damage breakdown again. So Earthshock at 29 casts, Earthquake at 15. That's a really good amount of Earthquakes. That's pretty much half of the my Earthshocks are giving me procs for my shoulders, right? And then Lava Burst, you're gonna see Lava Burst higher on here because I'm using Ascendance, Flame Shock, Gust of Wind with the Storm Elemental. So yeah, another thing that I wanted to show you guys was talents that I find to be very useful while leveling. I'm pretty much actually going to be sticking with the same talent build while I'm leveling here. Aftershock, I may actually use Totem Mastery, depends on how I'm feeling, but especially with the shoulders, actually I'm probably going to be leveling with the shoulders and boots. So yeah, scratch that. Gonna go Aftershock all the way until I can't use this combination anymore. And usually with the way that I level on my Shaman, I've done it multiple times now. I've even been testing out the shoulders and the boots, how strong they are while leveling, and I just pull massive amounts of mobs. If I'm I'm pulling like 6, 7, 8 mobs, right? I'm using my Earth Elemental. I'm even using my Storm Elemental. I'm CCing them. I'm keeping them bunched up. And then I'm just blowing that big Lightning Bolt Earthquake load on them. So it does a lot of damage. It does a lot of damage while leveling up. So I highly recommend you guys test this out. If you're going to be using War Mode, I also recommend these specific talents. You can actually switch out Lightning Lasso for control of lava if you want some more lava burst damage, but you're not going to be seeing the lava surges at all. Lava burst actually does a lot of damage with this control of lava, so it depends. If you're getting ganked a lot, try Lightning Lasso. If you're not and you just want to like breeze through the leveling, go with controlled lava. Counter-Strike Totem while leveling is exceptionally strong, especially when you put out your Earth Elemental or even just face tanking mobs. Counter-Strike Totem can push back or reflect a lot of damage, and it works with your Earth Elemental. So if your Earth Elemental has like 10 mobs on it, you put down that Counter-Strike Totem, it's going to be one of your top damaging abilities. Dwelling Waves, obviously. We're a hybrid class, our heals are needed, right? So having that extra 50% healing 3 seconds after we cast it is very nice. So those are the PvP talents that I recommend using while leveling up. You can see them on my bars even. So this is Counter-Strike Totem, that's Lightning Lasso. So while we're also on our way over to Orgrimmar, because I wanted to show you guys also how well the shoulders and the boots work in AoE combat. The testing dummies at the Orgrimmar battle place, I don't know what to call it, barracks, whatever. The testing dummies their DPS is inflated because their levels are much lower than us. But that doesn't really matter when you're testing percentages and the difference between using certain gear and talents, right? So I've noticed that these talents tend to be very good with AoE. Prima Elementalist, I really enjoy this because it gives us that added utility along with like the nice little AoE nuke from your Fire Elemental. Stormkeeper for that added little oomph. The little oomph, you know what I mean? When you're starting an AoE pack, Stormkeeper's very nice. And I'll show you guys also. Nothing changes except for my rings. So I go with a little bit more haste with this build. Again, this stuff is inflated, okay? So I wanted to show you guys the difference between using this and these legendaries, boots and shoulders, and using like the bracers and Seifu's Secret, you know, our normal AoE legendaries. A quick disclaimer, bracers are a lot less powerful now because we don't have Lightning Rod anymore as a talented ability. The bracers and the Lightning Rod talent went hand in hand together and just buffed each other very nicely. So because we don't have that anymore, and the damage, the sheer amount of damage that you get from the Echoes of the Great Sundering shoulder pads, it's fantastic. So I'll just quickly shut my mouth again and we'll go over, I'll just put this over here. There we go. Okay. I'm not even going to use Lust. And I'm using only Earthshock and Earthquake. Oh, did I not reset it? No, there it is. I'm only using Earthshock and Earthquake. I'll show you guys just how much damage the Earthquake can do. I know, like I said, the numbers are inflated. That doesn't matter though when we're comparing the legendaries for AoE. So I'm gonna use, I forgot to use Elemental Blast. It doesn't really matter though, it's just stats. We'll pull up my character panel here as well. Just using Earthquake and Earthshock. I'm just using Earthshocks actually to get the Maelstrom. To spend the Maelstrom, just dumping everything in Earthshock. And then hoping for those Earthquake procs. Okay, so you'll see that I'm doing roughly 265 sustained damage, right? Like I said, I'm constantly just dumping a Maelstrom into Earthshock, hoping to get those Earthquake procs. 250, there we go. Oops. And like I said, if you guys want the weak auras, I'm going to be putting it in the description down below into the video's description. Like I said, these aren't the weak auras that are mine, they're just the ones that I use. So I'm sustaining roughly 260k. Okay. I didn't even lust here. Again, these are inflated stats. Okay, let's stop this. Let's go back here, change our... There we go. That's a little less annoying, right? Let's change our gear up so I can show you guys exactly what the difference is going to be. Go into the shoulders. Put out the or that. Then okay, there. So even with this amount of crit, I think I'm pretty confident that I'm going to be doing less damage. Now I'm going to be spending the Maelstrom only on Earthquakes, and I'm just going to be casting Chain Lightning in Earthquakes. Okay? Let's do this again. Making sure to use Elemental Blast on cooldown. You're going to see that I'm still also getting Earthquake procs, so I'm constantly putting down Earthquakes, which is nice, especially with that Aftershock. And I'll show you guys the damage breakdown, but you're already seeing that I'm going below the damage that I was at before, right? With just the boots, or with Seifu's Secret and Alakir's Acrimony. So you're already seeing that I'm going below the damage that I was doing. And it's just gonna, this trend is gonna continue. I'm not gonna stay at this high damage. Just using cooldowns here. It's gonna go back down again. So this one is a little bit more traditional in the sense of like what you're doing with your spells as far as elemental, like traditional elemental AoE goes. So using the boots and the shoulders to AoE now, that's completely flipping everything upside down. Again, I know the numbers are inflated, but that doesn't matter when you're comparing two separate builds. Damage is still relevant, right? So I'm pretty sure while I was testing, I think the sustain that I got was 214k. But I was sustaining roughly 260k with the boots and the shoulders. Same build, same talents, right? Same. Actually, I have less crit with the other items, like the other legendaries, just because Seifu's Secret gives me so much crit, right? So I have less crit and I'm still doing more damage in the sense of AoE. So these are the things that I wanted to bring to your guys' attention. Also, a quick tip. When the free patch is launched, the legendary vendor is actually going to be flipped over. So now you can buy specific legendaries So if you don't have the boots or the shoulders, I definitely recommend trying to get as much of the essences as possible so that you can buy them come pre-patch and then be prepared. Another thing that I wanted to show you guys, so we talked about a lot of stuff. We talked about what you guys should be looking forward to when BFA launches, what talents are working together with certain situations, along with AoE, with the crazy overpowered combination of the boots and the shoulder pads with Aftershock, right? So test it out for yourselves, guys. The last thing I wanted to mention was if you don't have the repurposed Fel Focuser, this can be bought from the Nether Shard, what are they called? There we go. Nether Shard vendor on the Broken Isles. You can buy this for like, what is it, 5k, and it's just like a smaller flask, right? It gives you 34 intellect. No, it gives you 23 intellect, agility, and strength, and 34 stamina. There's also another one that's worth noting. The one from Warlords or Draenor. Here, I'll quickly go to my bank so I can find it for you. Here it is. This one also gives you 24 stamina, intellect, and strength. Agility, all 24. Okay. So actually one more intellect. Maybe I'm gonna start using this one. If I don't have a flask, I'm gonna be using this one. This can be found, or like, actually it is a garrison mission that you guys have to do. I don't remember the name of it, but if you guys want to look it up for yourself, Aurelius Whispering Crystal. You can find out how to get it. It's pretty easy. I know it's from your garrison, but yeah, if you guys like the video, like it. If you guys want to subscribe for more Elemental Shaman content, or if you want to come and hang out on my live Twitch TV, twitch.tv/Barokoshama, I'll be leaving the link to that in the description down below. If you guys also want to follow me on my social medias, Instagram and Twitter, you can do that as well. The link to those will be in the description down below. Comment, tell me what you guys think. Tell me if you've tested this kind of stuff, what builds and stats that you guys have found work really well together. And if you're looking forward to BFA, let me know in the comment section down below as well. Anyway, guys, it's been a pleasure. Until next time, my name is Barokoshama. Keep calm. Maelstrom on.